Hey everybody. I want you to start practicing your colored pencil layering now. There is an image attached to this week's assignment of probably 7 or 8 of these clipped to my board from last year, and I want you to look at those carefully before you begin. What you're going to do is choose a main color of colored pencil that you want to use for your sphere first. Whatever that main color of colored pencil is, I'm going to have you go ahead and complete a value scale at the top with that colored pencil, practicing pressing lighter and harder. I'm going to choose a blue colored pencil, and I'm going to press really hard on the left-hand side with my blue. And just like you did with your graphite, I am going to slowly move down the row of boxes, pressing lighter and lighter. Now, something that is different from your colored pencil, or from your graphite pencil, excuse me, is that you are going to start layering other colors into this value scale. So once you get all of these squares done with blue or whatever color you choose, you're going to fade all the way down with your circular motions, very carefully working. On the squares that are the darkest, I want you to choose the complementary color. So since I choose blue, orange is my complementary color. It is directly across from blue. And in my darkest squares, very, very lightly, I want you to go on top of the blue with the orange just to darken them slightly. And up close, it's going to kind of have a weird muddy color. But from a distance, it is going to look like you just darkened your color. So use a bit of the complementary color when you're practicing your value scale. Always use a complementary color to darken. We're going to stop using black to darken because black takes over. When you get down to your sphere, you are going to shade your sphere just like you did for your graphite sphere. So I won't finish any of these things for the sake of a demo, but you need to take your time finishing each step, and you need to take your time looking at the finished examples. And again, all of those are student examples from last year clipped to the board. Those are some really nice examples for you to follow. So I'm pushing hard and I'm fading out. Now, when you get to your sphere, I really want you to start practicing layering. So after you've got this blue faded out to the top, I'm going to have you choose colors that are close on the color wheel to blue. So greens or purples are close to the color wheel. In fact, they're called adjacent colors if they are right next to the color you're using. So I'm going to actually layer some purples into this sphere after I get the blue done. Because again, it just kind of matures the color. It makes more visual interest if you layer colors together with colored pencil. I'm gradually lifting up as I travel towards my light source. And again, if you actually want to look at a tennis ball or some other kind of spherical object on the table to see how the shadow is cast, I am all for that. And I have several of them in my classroom, and I'm sure if you're at home you can find something spherical to look at. If you want a harsh shadow, you can come up with a way to shine light directly on it. Okay, now I'm going to layer into this blue with some colors that are close on the color wheel. I'm going to pick this purple color. I'm going to throw a little purple in there on top. I don't want to ruin the dark to the light transition. I'm also going to put in like a little teal or some other colors. If you have additional colored pencils at home that you want to use with your set or bring some in, that is absolutely fine. Putting some blue back over. Now I'm even going to take that orange. My last step for that sphere is I'm going to take that complementary color very, very lightly. You don't want to overdo the complement. I'm going to add that into the shadow. When I finish the sphere, I'm going to decide on a table color. And I'm going to make my table color yellow. Doesn't matter what table color you use. I'm going to go right over where the shadow would be with that table color, and I'm not going to complete this whole table. I'm just going to go, I'm going to do a little bit here so you can see. For the shadow, I'm going to use the color of the sphere for the shadow. No black shadows anymore. We're trying to move beyond black shadows. And I'm going to use the same blue on that shadow right over the yellow, and it's going to start making a green. Those two colors are optically mixing together. Little specks of each are showing through to make a green shadow. And I can fade the shadow out as I move away from the sphere. Remember, take your time, be careful. I'm doing this really quickly because it is a demo. You will then choose a color for the back wall. Everything needs to be slow, careful. You can fade in and out of values if you like. And then I'm even going to put a little bit of that complement from the blue back in here to make it darker. So there are lots of colors on top of other colors here. At this point, I'm going to show you the screen again if that light was washing it out. I've got my sphere. It's faded in. You can still use pressure to fade in and out. It's blue, but I've added some purples and colors around it to enhance it a bit, and a little orange down here to make the blue darker. Then I've chosen a table color. I do the shadow on top of the table color in the same color that the sphere is. So if this is a blue sphere, you want a blue shadow. I can still darken the shadow with the orange complement. You will have to apply this to whatever color you use. So if you've got a red sphere, you might want to use oranges and yellows to make it fancy, and then you'll use your green as your complement. You would have a red shadow on top of whatever your table color is. If this was a green sphere, again, you would do it opposite, where you'd have a little red in for the complement, and you would put green on your table color if it's green. If it's an orange sphere, you would do it opposite of the blue, where you have an orange sphere with an orange shadow and you use the blue as your complement for your shadows. So you have to know where color complements are and what's across from you. Again, I want you to finish this entire card like the examples on your Google Classroom. If you have any questions in your virtual, just let me know.